Alright guys, we're going to give this another go. I recorded a 30-minute video and I had no audio. I think I can record this one a lot faster, a little less interruption. So let's get going. Before we get started, make sure you like and subscribe. Trying to grow the YouTube channel here, so throw a like up on the video, subscribe to the channel, and any shares are appreciated. We're going to start on Bitcoin as normal. So we had a move up here, right? Formed a new all-time high at 42,000, and we had a nice little retrace after that. I believe this move down was just an A wave of a large running flat structure here. After breaking the high, we reached a new all-time high around 58,000 and then pulled back and essentially retested this level. So we're going to talk about that a couple times in this video, where running flats tend to retest the initial high or at least come very close to it. You can see that we front ran the level here, but the idea remains the same, that this was a retest of this, what was previously resistance is now a zone of support. In this structure, after the all-time high, we stayed under that level for 31 days. Then we broke above it, and we've been consolidating above that level now for 38 days. Before we broke the all-time high was another 30 days, 33 days to break the all-time high right here. So for me, this is a 60-day ranging structure, and any move up out of it should be expected to be a pretty strong move on a high time frame. If we go down to the 4-hour, we can see a very similar structure here, where we pretty much test this level again, right? We front run it just a little bit, but we've got an A, B, and C. B taking the longest in time. It was pretty choppy. Now we seem to be putting in some kind of basing pattern for this move up. So we've already started the base here, and it could continue before we get an impulse out of this. So if I'm wrong, we would see a loss of this level here, both of these levels, since we are pretty much treating these as the same level. As I already discussed, this is one support area. If we fall below this support area, then we're looking for a test lower towards this, what was previously resistance here. This is also where the move up really started from. So we have some demand in this area that gave us this move up. We're watching for the 1-hour and 4-hour to flip positive on the MACD momentum. If they flip positive and then flip back to red, that's not a good sign. So say the 4-hour comes up here and flips blue, but then it rolls back over and it flips red, then we are looking for this retracement down. Primarily, I expect to consolidate in here. I think once the 4-hour flips positive, it won't flip back to red. And same with the 1-hour. We expect to see it flip positive here in the next couple of hours. And as it does, we'll expect to see kind of in this area, in near this all-time high, we expect to see some consolidation that stays positive in momentum. A positive flip followed by a red flip is a bad thing. That's really all I've got on Bitcoin. So our primary route is up. We expect some consolidation under the all-time high, and then we continue upwards. Let's move over to Litecoin. Same thing here. If we flip blue and then flip red at what was a supply zone that led to this move down, that could give us these lower levels towards the inception of this move upward. Litecoin has the same structure as Bitcoin. We've got this large running flat here, followed by a first move up and a running flat here. So So if I'm wrong about Bitcoin, then I'm wrong about Litecoin. If I'm seeing this whole structure wrong, then I'm seeing it wrong on not only this chart, but both charts. But as we reclaimed this high here, you can see we tested below it what I had already marked as an accumulation range. We tested this accumulation range, and now we are claiming this high and reclaiming it as support. So as we get some momentum here, we're looking for a move up into the 300s. We will need to flip this zone right here. If we go down to a 4-hour, we can see that that was a supply zone that led to this last move down. Now in the last video, I entered this trade on the video. That was the one that didn't have any audio though, so you couldn't hear me enter it anyway. But we're just a little bit higher. You can still take this setup. Excuse me. I had to sneeze there. So you could still take this setup. It's just a little bit wider stop loss, around 6%. But as long as we flip this, we're looking for a break of this all-time high. We may do some more chopping, but the primary expectation is that we end up impulsing upward on a high time frame. From Litecoin, let's jump over to Yfii. We'll look at the Binance USDT chart as it has the most history. So same here, we're looking for potential of chopping around before really getting the expansion upwards. If we go to the daily, you can see that we had this large downtrend here. We're accumulating right around this level. We tested that accumulation level here. We've got a running flat here that looks similar to what Litecoin and Bitcoin do. And as we see daily momentum flip positive, we should see continuation up out of it. Now this was a large downtrend. It's hard to reverse a large downtrend, so it's been very choppy. We don't expect it to just go straight up. We don't think that it's going to run to 10K. The eventual goal is 10K. The eventual goal is a 4 or 5X from this coin. However, you're more likely to have success by taking profits as we get these moves. If we come up to around 5,000, it's probably a good level to take some profits and look for a retracement. Whether you take 100% profits or partial profits, however you want to do that. But the same idea where we had the downtrend and chopping behind it, we can apply that on the lower time frame where we had this drop down and we're chopping behind it. We could continue to chop here for a while before getting a stronger move up out of here. Essentially, we are watching a range of this level here, right? So we've got an impulse down and we're watching a range behind it. So we might reject at the 50% level, we might reject at the 75% level. This is the mid-range level that we're watching, and it actually lines up pretty well with where a little bit of supply was right here. We tried to sell back into this, or we tried to buy back into this, but there was too many sellers here that led to the continued move down. And the same thing at the 75% level, there was some resistance there. So both of these levels could provide resistance again. And neither has been tested since the low was put in. So I would definitely expect to see a pullback from these levels, at least initially. So you could take potential profits or potentially hedge short. Now, Yfii doesn't really have separate contracts unless you're trading spot margin. There's no quarterly contracts on this one. I believe that's all I've got. I guess the levels to hold here, I expect 2161 to hold. If we flip red on 4 hour, I won't like that at all. Especially if we flip red on 4 hour and trade under this. Now, if we move up and we test this 0.5 level or the 2600 level and then come back down on the 4 hour and flip red, I'm okay with that. That gives us another buy on the way up. When the 4 hour flips back positive, that would be a long entry. Let's look over at Sol. We're going to look at the USD chart. This thing looks pretty solid. So from the all-time high, right here, we had a pullback, and we've since been consolidating. For me, this is an accumulation area right in here, and this was a good area to start accumulating a long position for yourself. Anything in here was a good entry for what I expect to be an expansion up out of here. Now, it is very possible that we expand out and pull back again, back into this level. So I would be watching for us to move up above the high and fall back below. If that happens, that's a good area to take profits or hedge. And personally, I will probably just be hedging short, and I would hold my longs looking for this fall. But if we get above this level and we make some kind of continuation pattern here, then you don't have to worry about that. You would just be adding on the dips. But Sol, I'm very bullish on. This has pretty much 1/10 of the market cap as what DOT does, and they do similar things. So I'm very bullish long term on Sol, and I'm looking for continued upside up to as much as $100 or higher. It had the long accumulation range here. We've started an expansion out, and this is the longest consolidation we've had since it started this impulse upwards. So I believe we're just about ready to move out of this. Hopefully we get a clean move up rather than too much more chopping. But regardless, over the next couple months, upside is the expectation. I know there was one other chart I looked at earlier. Oh, Link. Let's look over at Link. I think I did it on the FTX chart, so let's take a look there. Yeah. So this one is pretty impressive. We had this impulse up and then a over 60% retracement. And after the all-time high, we ranged for 5 months. We're now seeing an impulse out of the range, and volume is picking up. So there's strong interest in here, and if we impulse up again, I think you'll see volume pick up again. So we're now getting a 4-hour flip positive, which is a good thing. It's one of the things I talked about in the last video. We need that continuation. We're in an 8-hour order block where we could see a rejection here come down. And you see it's rejected here a couple times already. So it's very possible that we come down and at least sweep this level. If we fall again, I'm not interested in being in Link for this move. So a 4-hour flip back to red here, I would go ahead and cut it and wait for a clearer entry. Is it possible that we sweep this low? Yeah, absolutely. But I don't want to be in when that happens because of the potential that it could just continue down first. If we go back out to the 8-hour, rejection could be something more like this, bringing us into this previous level here, which was the all-time high. So for that reason, I don't want to be in it if we're coming down to this level to sweep this level. I will wait to see that the sweep is confirmed, and we're reclaiming this level here. As we reclaim, that's when I would add exposure, looking for a move to the upside. Link again, I'm looking for $100 and higher. I think this one has some major potential. But I don't know that we are going to go straight there. We do need to flip the 8-hour positive, get some momentum on the 8-hour here to really make that happen. Alright, so I cut a 30-minute video down into 14.5 minutes. Hopefully that all makes sense. If you have any questions at all, hit me up. Hopefully you enjoyed the content. Make sure to share the video and subscribe to the channel. We'll see you in the next one.